Drone here, this is Hubsan Hornet, and bam, T8SG. This has been jumpified, and bam, Sean B. He's actually going to be flying this. He's never flown it with the jumper. Controls are the same. You just gotta hold all the way up and then come down. Yep, and then you're good to go. And you want to fly this way. Just don't go crazy with it. Yeah. You have wind, but you should notice the difference in flight.
Low power.
Yeah, Hattie. And we have, I don't know how strong the wind is. I'd probably say maybe like 4 to 5 mile an hour wind. And he's flying this Hubsan Hornet. It's the Hubsan Hornet. It's the yellow one with the jumper T8SG. And this is the first time on the jumper for my brother. And I've actually not even flown this outside. I've only done inside trials. So stay tuned for jumper T8SG videos as the weather picks up. And you could probably hear that as the weather picks up to being good. And you could probably hear that wind blowing in Hattie. We're dealing with some wind. And a pretty docile drone you're able to actually deal with and actually fly with out here. So the jumper T8SG is definitely a good addition to anybody's fleet, especially if you want to turn your drones into something that they weren't stock. I have the rates up to 125% on this, so it is flying in a higher rate. It is flying in a faster speed. And again, as he's coming back, it's going really quick because we have wind blowing it back, so he's flying with the wind. But as you can see, this is able to fly. 0 issues flying this in any type of wind. And here it comes and zipping straight forward. Did a little bank turn right there. Is it faster?
Oh yeah.
He says, oh yeah. I definitely know it is faster. But again, this is his first time on it. So it's definitely a first impression for him. And again, the only thing I've had actually outside is the, what was it, the MJX600, the Hex that I've had FPV'd out the wazoo and took over a 1/4 mile FPV. But this wakes this drone up for me. I have the same drone, and myself, I'm used to H107C being a super zippy drone, and this is an altitude hold drone, so it didn't quite have that zip. So for me, I kind of boxed it, and sure, I'd fly it once in a while, but it really didn't have any real want to fly it just because it didn't have that zip. Now with this on the jumper, it has a zip that it could definitely hang. And my brother's going up a little bit high, just showing you that it will get some range. Definitely need to be careful doing that with this wind, even though it is on the jumper, a high gust of wind up there, it's not blocked by anything, and if this flops, it'll probably flop in the neighbor's house, and they probably won't be too happy. But bam, you hear that wind, dude, and see, it's just flying right into it. My brother, we were talking about him coming up flying, and he said about the Hubsan, and it's probably too windy for it. And it's like, dude, leave your controller home. I got a controller, we'll hook up to it. It'll be able to fly in it. And as you can see, it's able to fly in it. So this is kind of like a high wind test on this. You're not pitched all the way forward, are you? You are pitched all the way forward. So with high wind, it's still able to fight it. Super high wind, which we just had a gust or two, it's kind of at a stalemate. But again, from what this was, the kind of docile altitude hold drone, this it really turns it up. Damn, just about hit ourselves there. There's a little range run right there, but that's another thing. The jumper should really increase the range of anything that it's connected to. You're also going to get, it's on 30 milliwatts right now. You have higher power settings that if you wanted to go super duper far, you could set it to higher power settings, but something like this without FPV on it, you get so far and you lose sight of it. So to have it on anything higher than 30 milliwatts is really not that necessary. And again, I'm sure you'll definitely be able to hear the sound transitioning into the video once we get this loaded. And coming towards us. And easy, bam, there's a good look at it there. Bamzo. My brother's about ready to smoke me in my head. So definitely a good addition if you've been thinking about this drone. Maybe you like the H107 series. This does not have a camera on it. For me, again, it was a little bit docile on the controller, but on a nice stale day, like no wind day, unlike today, you could get good flyability out of it. On a windy day like this, you probably wouldn't be able to get it out on the stock controller, but with the T8SG, as you can see, he's flying zero issues. He's having zero issues flying this, and this should be a full flight time test. Did you charge his battery today? Yep, he charged the battery today, so this should be a full flight time test. I'm gonna say you could probably add maybe a minute to whatever we get here, just for the simple fact that it is on the jumper, so the pitch rates are increased, so it's drawing extra power, and we're also dealing with an aggressive flight here. It's not smooth sailing. I mean, right now the wind's kind of not blowing, and then as I speak, it starts blowing a little bit. So it's an aggressive flight, higher pitch rates. It's going to be a great draw. And as you can see, he hit just about down the end of the street there. The red LEDs are pretty good as long as you keep them, as long as you keep it pretty straight and you're not pitched too heavy. If you pitch too heavy at that distance, they will disappear. So keep that in mind. And the way J-Drone likes it, red lights in the rear and your different colored lights in the back is the way this is set up. For me, it's just easy to remember. On a car, we have red lights in the rear. And what are you doing? There we go. He was fighting the wind, I guess, kind of picked up and just about ready to smoke himself and smoke the Impala. And again, blue lights are forward. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do me a favor, subscribe, and my brother's link will be down below as well. If you want to check his channel out and subscribe, I'd definitely appreciate it. He'd definitely appreciate it. And there's a link above. There's a URL on this video. You can copy that link, you can drop it on your Facebook, and that's sharing J-Drone with your friends. Maybe you have other friends that would like to see the J-Drone show. Maybe you have other friends that would like to get into the drones that might not know a good drone reviewer. I know a lot of reviewers have put me to sleep. I know a lot of reviewers put other people to sleep because they don't get to the point. They like to just jab a jaw, and not really get to the action. We got to the action here. We showed you the drone. It's in the air. It's flying. And again, I'm hands-free because I'm not flying it, and we have my brother flying it. Kind of also doing an introduction to his channel on my channel, which we've done in live feeds. We've never really done this in extent like this before. We've flown together, and I have 1 or 2 videos of us flying together, just as well as I think he does with the Ice Blue Alsenma and the Alsenma that he had. But this is getting great flight time. Let's see what Hattie says. Hattie says 8 minutes and change. That's great flight time for any toy grade quad. And my guess is it's going to last another minute to 2 minutes before we start getting blinky lights. And in that juncture, we're going to drop it because, again, you never really want to kill your battery unless you have to. And unless you're like miles away from yourself, you really should never have to. Bamzo, little zip back. And even, like, it's kind of dark, but it's kind of bright in certain spots. Those LEDs in the rear are, see if you could stabilize it, like, right around this area. Bamzo. Those LEDs in the rear, they're like super duper bright. Bam, all up in there. To the point that you can see it. Against the dark sky and against the light side, you can really see those lights. So at nighttime, this might be a good night flyer. This might be something you would consider flying at night. It is small. This is not an X5 clone. If you're not familiar with Hubsan, this is literally a H107C clone without the camera. So keep that in mind. And these weren't that expensive. I think they originally retailed for like $30, $40. Prices dropped on them considerably, at least around the holiday they did. Whoop! Almost did a nosedive into the ground because of the wind. And they were on Vipin cheaper. I don't know that they're on Vipin anymore, but I would think on Amazon you should be able to get this for around $20, $30 mark still, which is a good price. What do we got? Bam! That's probably it. Although we didn't see no lights blink, and I think this has lights that blink. Do you know?
Yeah.
It definitely has lights that blink. Maybe it was the wind, or maybe our battery compartment was not closed completely, and that was all J-Drone. I closed it up. All right, I'm stealing the sticks. And we're gonna go ahead and kill this battery. I'm gonna go up and bam. Yeah, it has a little issue in the high gust of wind. Like right now I'm kind of at a stalemate. And bam, that's why we're at a stalemate. I think the voltage is definitely low. Although it's not blinking. Let's see here. Front light's not blinking. It could have something to do. Yeah, dude, we're at 10 minutes and change. We're at almost 11 minutes and change. I'll try to put it up one more time. Maybe it has something to do with this not being the stock controller. I don't know, because I think the LVC would actually be in the drone and not the controller. We're going up again. Like, this is an epic flight time. We'll just bring it over here. What up, little buddy? Yes. I can't believe this thing's still flying. I don't know why it dropped. Maybe it was just dropping because of the high wind. It was fighting, and bam, there's those blinkies. So yeah, we were just about at low voltage prior to the LVC warning, and this got an epic flight time. We were just going to come on. Don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Ah! Under the car. Tried to do a hand catch. It is still considered an altitude hold drone, where the shutdown should have been in my hand, but I guess it wanted to go all the way down. Guys, I'm J-Drone. This is my controller. This is Sean B's drone. If you haven't subscribed to him, subscribe to him. If you haven't subscribed to me, y'all better subscribe. And if you're gonna fly safe, please do so. Later.